Well, I've got all the panels done for these. Red, white, and the blue. Need to seam those together, and I'll probably do that later on this evening. Have all the squares done, but I can't decide on the layout that I want to use. So I've kind of put that layout on yesterday's video, hoping that you guys will give me an idea. Yesterday evening's video. Hope that you will give me an idea of what you think your favorite layout would be. I also have a video up on TikTok that folks can pick and choose, that kind of thing. I'm gonna put one up on Instagram as well, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. You know, life is too short, too much to do. So anyway, how's everybody's day going? Hope you guys are having a good, positive day. I am so far. I'm still working on my coffee. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Good grief. Ugh, that's annoying. So I just went ahead and got up and decided to start working. So I am back to working on the iris blanket. And I was watching Billy, Crafty Floridian, her video that's titled "Wanna See My Tank?" So I'm laughing at that she did get that as a gift, but she had made a comment when she brought the Boggy Blanket Brigade shirt out, which is basically black. And she said, she made the comment about the black shirts don't go well with having cats that have white. I understand completely. Having 2 cats that are majority white, everything is covered in white fur. I brush them, I sweep, I mop. Seems like there's white hair everywhere. When I finish this Afghan, it'll have to be washed because of all the white hair. I don't understand how it gets onto the blankets the way that it does. I mean, I do lint roll it and everything else, but their hair just seems to be everywhere. And I do not remember that with when we had Caitlin, the little tuxedo cat. I do not remember that much hair everywhere. And we brushed her, do the same thing that I do with these, so I don't know. And Ronan this morning, 6 o'clock this morning, he's running around the house meowing loudly, which normally his is like, little meals, not real loud. But boy, he was just carrying on today, and I don't know what he was saying, what he was trying to get across, but apparently it didn't work because I didn't get the clue. I am glad finally to have those things done. Like I said, I will be sitting down because I think I'm going to need to seam the knitted panels over at the table or on a tabletop. Just help them lay flat while I'm doing it. You know, it's not the same as when you're doing a mattress stitch on a, like stitching up a sweater or something like that. You don't necessarily have to be on a flat surface, although it does help. Or maybe I'll bring a little TV tray in here and try that. Might do that. See if that works. But, like I said, now I'm back to working on this. I am going to start a hat later on. Not today. I will start a hat tomorrow for the kiddos. Need to go pull some yarns for that. Hopefully I have some around. See, that's another thing, because, I'm trying to use up yarns. May not have the color around, may have to go shopping. I don't want to do that. But sometimes you have to step out of the comfort zone and go for it. Sometimes you gotta go shopping. We'll shop the garage first. I'll shop my totes first and see if I have them. Should be a lot of fun. The last thing that I had seen about the 3i Atlas is that they had gotten a much clearer picture of it. And one of the photos that they had taken showed that it had like a ring-like feature to the front of it. It is giving off more water than what most comets do. They are trying to say it's a comet still. So I guess we'll see, right? If one day we have aliens landing on the Earth. Of course, this supposedly after the starseed. Are we the starseed? Just curious. It's been a tad chilly here today. We've had a big whopping high of 47. Guess that means fall is actually here, right? I don't know that I'm ready, really. I look forward to it every year. But then I think fall goes by way too fast. And then we're in the cold months. And I don't like that either. I have been looking through all those receipts from the contractor, trying to find the receipt to change out that window. So far, have not found a thing. And that's frustrating because they actually need an invoice number to be able, which I'm not sure why they don't have a computer system that you could put in the name or the address to find it out. But apparently they don't. Which that was never the case when I went over to Lowe's or YBC. Not sure why Erie does it the old-fashioned way, but I guess works for them, right? So anyway, still looking for that. Lawyer that called me and told me that he'd sent over a message asking for them to produce that information. Seeing as there were so many receipts and invoices that were missing, that possibly that's where one of those were at, with their missing ones. So, I don't know. But that's kind of what's going on here today. I think again, what was it yesterday? Voted again for the 12th time, not only to reopen the government, but to a separate bill on top of that so that federal workers and food stamps could be paid out. Democrats all voted no. I guess they don't hate America enough. I've been watching a couple of videos, folks that are think tank people, and they're basically talking about how the No Kings protest were part of a color revolution. And I'm like, well, I think they're missing the mark because what I saw, most of the No Kings protests were, like someone pointed, geriatric white folks. I saw one where there was one black fellow, but he was a reporter, was not participating. So I don't know. Then I saw last night's story about this is supposedly a TikTok influencer that just films ICE when he sees them out doing. He said he saw him in his neighborhood, so he started filming him, and then something happened. They say that ICE just shot him unprovoked and put him in the hospital. But there was also another officer that was injured in that as well. And then when you see some of the video that came from the body cams of the officers, he tried to ram him with his vehicle. And somebody brought a gun to the fight that was not ICE. And shots were exchanged. Of course, one of the ICE officers was hit as well. So, and I've been seeing more and more, not only on YouTube, but Facebook and even TikTok, Instagram. And especially if you're over there at Blue Sky. Oh my goodness. They are openly calling for people to weaponize themselves and to start using weapons. But then they're also the ones that are telling folks, with the food stamps and their EBT to just steal. So I truly think that what they are looking for is they are trying to create almost a civil war. But my thoughts with that is, if you create a civil war, how is that going to fare for you when the majority of the people voted for the current president and he'll use everything in his power to squash it? Wouldn't that kind of make you go, what's going on? Why is that kind of stuff happening? What's the end game? And that has always been my biggest question with them. What is the end game for this? With the No Kings. We don't have a king. Are you just going to throw these pity parties for the next 4 years? The rest of his term? What are you going to do when J.D. Vance becomes president? You going to do the same old thing? See, to me, what it shows is Democrats are the fascists. It's their way or no way. They use every tool in the book to try to squash you and make you think the way they think. And if they don't get their way, they use violence. They turn to violence. They have always turned to violence. They started the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. There were a lot of things that were behind the carpetbaggers after the Civil War. Created a whole lot of problems. So, and then what I find funny is most of the people that I know in my area that are No King protesters, old geriatric, Most of those were hippies that when Vietnam veteran soldiers came back, they spit on them. So, I don't know. Just makes me wonder what we're coming up for, what's going to happen in the future. I am glad that I think they found another 45 children in the Memphis area that were being sex trafficked. That's a good thing. It's a good thing that they found them. It's not good that they were sex trafficked. But I love that they are actually sorting this out, going after these people, and finding those kids and taking them out of those situations. But seems to be a little strange. There was either last night or early this morning in Houston off of one of the bridges. Someone had called and said there was something on fire hanging off the bridge. When they got to it, they found that it was a man that had been hung and set on fire. And but nearby was a homeless encampment. So they don't know if it was related to that, who this person was. The investigation is still going. But it's like, what is wrong with people these days? What has gotten in their head that they think it's okay to do this kind of stuff? I don't know, maybe it's because we have ready, quick access that we see more of it. Maybe it was prevalent all along, but we're just seeing it more often. I don't know. But it's kind of crazy. Have you guys started your Christmas projects yet? I have not. Don't know that I will. Oh, I did get a email from the local hospital, and they're asking if I could help with the baby hats again this year. It's a cute pattern. But I just don't know if I have the gumption. I did return an email. He's out today, so he won't answer until Monday or Tuesday. But I did ask what date they need the hats by. So, I don't know if I will or not. Maybe a couple, But they have crocheters there that should be able to do it as well. At least they did. Unless they got rid of all of them. I saw where those of us that are on Medicare are going to be getting a 2.8 cost of living raise. Which, does that mean the benefits are going to be taxed at 2.9%? Isn't that the way it seems to go? And I'm just kind of curious what the bait and switch is going to be this year with the insurances, I've started going through, the different Advantage plans. That to me is a nightmare. I mean, it just is. It's not easy. It's difficult. You have to look at each one and figure it out. And there is no, when you try to do the compare online, at least with the system that I've been seeing, you don't get a system where you could compare this plan, and this plan all together, print it out so you could see the differences. It just shows one at a time. That's piss poor computer programming. Truly is. What do you want, Mr. Ronan? He comes over and he stands on my feet. Generally that means he wants something. Either play or some petting. He wanted some pets, some head noogies. He's spoiled boy. Him and his sister are going at it this morning. That down and dirty, I'm gonna kill you type fighting. Wasn't play fighting, it was fighting. Knocking into things. I had a toad that was sitting on its side. They knocked that over, and then they scattered, and then they came back together to fight a little bit more. They've been enjoying getting brushed. But Ronan lots of times wants to play when he's being brushed. Which is kind of funny because he'll roll over on his belly. Roll over with his belly up. And he wants his belly brushed, but he doesn't want it brushed. So when you go to brush it, he bites the brush. Tries to kick the brush. Such knuckleheads. I hear with the whole issue of with the government got shut down, that it looks like folks that are traveling, air travel, are going to have a difficult time. They were also talking about that there are a lot of air traffic controllers who are taking on second jobs, which, I don't know about you, but if I'm flying, I don't want an air traffic controller up in the air tower that is sleepy. Just don't. Or too tired. That way they can feed their families. So, I don't know. Like I said, this is time for folks to just start calling and write their Congress people and their senators and let them know. Get this thing done. This is ridiculous. Quit holding the people hostage. Especially when it was a bill that the at the time, Democrat leader of the Senate wrote. Passed the dang bill. Didn't work on the budget. Work on fighting through the budget and adding those things back in if you really think they need to be added back in. However, I don't think they need to be added back in. I'm sorry, I don't think we should be paying for circumcisions in the Balkans or Zimbabwe or wherever the heck they are. Or for women's empowerment in some of these tribes. Some of these tribes are matriarchal anyway, so leave them be. And those that aren't, I'm sure if you come in trying to change them, it'll be like the missionaries whose homes were burned, murdered over there when you come in and try to change their culture. Because that's what you're trying to do. So, how is that okay? I don't know. But, they're going to fight over nonsense stuff anyway. It would be nice if they would fight more for things that are here for Americans. Instead of giving everything away, let's take care of our needs at home. Let's take care of those that are homeless, get them into homes. Make sure kids are fed, people are fed. You know, it's kind of like the when you're in the airliner and they tell you the mask drop down. Put your own mask on first, then take care of those around you. Because you can't help if you're passing out, if you're dropping dead. I saw where Utah is considering digital ID. What's going on there in Utah? Are you guys okay? Do you really think that's a good idea? I don't know. I'm serious. That's something I'm not looking forward to. Like I said, I consider that the mark of the beast. I saw someone who said maybe you should read your Bible. It has 66 books that talk about that. So, I don't know. I still have a little bit left to do for my items for the craft fair. I have to print off some labels. And my price list. Do need to tag a couple of things. And finish up the reusable paperless towels. I've got those cut and most of them serged, but I need to weave in the ends and then package those up on the labels. So, Ronan, will you stop trying to lay on the bag? Him and wanting to lay on these bags. He is bad about it. He likes laying on them. I think he likes chewing on the edge while he's laying, to be honest. Him and his chewing plastic and whatnot. Oh, you sweet boy. Laying on my foot now. Yeah. No, don't rub on the camera. Don't knock the camera around. Please don't knock the camera around. What do you want, mister? Why don't you come up here? Come on up here. That way the folks can see you. You don't want to be on camera? All right. But anyway, they're apparently looking at passing a law to make digital ID in Utah. And if Utah does that, it won't be long before it happens nationwide. We'll all be taking the mark of the beast. It's a-coming. But then again, that also means Jesus is coming back. So, maybe that's a good thing. Although some of us are going to have a bit of a job on our hands. Staying here trying to convert the heathens. I don't know if you've watched some of the different videos some of the musicians have put up, but they sure seem pretty satanic, some of them. Don't know where that stopped. Anyway, I was talking about I didn't know if it was a video, and then I thought, no, it was a online conversation I was having with the group about someone had gone to the Lauren Daigle concert, and they just felt like it was demonic, that the lyrics of one of the songs was demonic. And I was like, I wonder which song they're talking about, because I can't think of any of her songs that sound demonic. But maybe I'm missing something. Who knows? But I had a friend that had the opportunity to go to the Big Daddy Weave concert this weekend. And one of my other friends was also helping out there. And it was at a church that is nearby. It's about 45 minutes away. But I had asked her, what was it like? Was there a lot of seating and everything? She said, well, the auditorium that they have is big. However, the sanctuary that they use is very small. And I was wondering if it was where we did the Stations of the Cross. I was thinking that it was at that church. But I'm not positive if that was the church where it was at. So, but you said it was really good. And the gal that had helped out, she was nervous because it was the first time she's helping out. She said it was actually a very good experience. She enjoyed it. And she wouldn't mind helping out again in the future. I had the craft fair this week. It's on Wednesday with Christian women. I have purposely taken a day off from Awana because I know by the end of the day I will be dog tired. That is a full day of mostly standing. We set up generally about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning for the vendors. The vendors can come in and set up. And then I still have to do my duties with the helping to set up the tables and whatnot for folks coming in. So, it should be interesting anyway. And then my duties for setting up the name tags for the ladies that are coming to enjoy the show. They do this always on a Wednesday afternoon, and they're always talking about they'd like to see younger people. And I've said to them, have you considered doing a Saturday afternoon instead of all of them being Wednesday? I mean, absolutely, to be honest, if you're not going to get younger Christian women or younger women who might be interested in coming. If you're doing it while they're working, or like those that have children, although we do have daycare available, but you're not going to get those or the ones that homeschool, that kind of thing, to come because they just can't fit it into their schedule, And I understand why they don't want to do it at night, because the majority of those women are older women that come, unless they have a friend that has benefits, like can drive them at night, they're not going to come out at night. So I don't know. They're trying to brainstorm. And we'll see. Maybe, maybe we'll see an uptick in some people coming. I've told them they need to do a better thing of advertisement. They might consider writing a blurb for the radio so that the radio can put that out there. A lot of radio stations will do that. That's a public service announcement. They'll do that, but you got to get it out there. Can't let them know a week beforehand. You got to let them know, a couple weeks in advance. Normally 2 to 3 weeks in advance. But we have our meetings scheduled for a year in advance. So that's easy enough to do if you ask me. But people are kind of hesitant to do that. Same thing with our church. They don't advertise a lot of their events. Well, I have suggested that they also put it out there on the radio. And one of the gals that heads it made a statement. She said, well, I don't know how many people listen to radio anymore. I said, a lot more than what you think. I said, you're thinking of when you're in the car listening to the radio. When I'm at home, I listen to the radio. I know there's a lot of people that do. They have the music on. Generally when I'm in there working, I've got the music going. The only reason I turn it off for videos is copyright issues. They want to take all your money because you're playing their song in the background. And there's a part of me that goes, well, if you want your cut of my 3 cents, then go right ahead. But, I can understand. You get a copyright strike. So, it's just, you can't win with between everything, musicians and whatnot. So, anyway, I just keep hoping that, they eventually come up and do a better job. Because there's no reason that, like with this Fall Fest, there was no reason for them not to have many more children show up for it who would have benefited. And I heard one of the gals talking about how she surprised her how many kids had not heard of David and Goliath. And it made me stop and think. I know as a kid, do you remember the show Davy and Goliath? I can remember watching that show all the time and wondering what that story basically had started around. And of course, you come to find out it's a little different than the Bible story, but it was based off of the original, Bible story of David and Goliath. So, yeah, it just makes you wonder, All right, guys, I am going to cut this short. My voice, for some reason, is acting up. So I'm going to let you go. I'll see you again tomorrow. But in the meantime, everybody have a great day. And work on those whips.